Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mr. Lee Gamer here, and I have some Destiny news for you guys. So, Bungie did the live stream today, and they're, it was a three-part series. They're just showing us and giving us information about what to expect when the April 12th update comes out. And this, the third and final live stream today was talking about the Crucible changes they're doing, balancing, things of that nature to help improve gameplay for us, which I really appreciate. I think this live stream was really awesome. But if you guys want to go check out the live stream yourself, there'll be a link in the description below, so you guys can go check that out. But of course, this video is just to give you all the information, quicker, so you guys don't have to sit through a 2-hour live stream, and also to give you guys accurate information. So let's start right into it. So the first thing they touched on was the revives. So the revives has been slowed down. It's not as fast as it once was. It's a little bit slower. Same thing with the exotics. That's been touched too. So like normal revive speeds that once was or still is until the update comes is gonna be at exotic speeds, and then without it, it's gonna be a little bit slower. Also, they're doing this because of trials. Kind of competitive Destiny, because some people were able to sprint revive, to run by and just pick up the teammate and then keep going. And then also they made you go closer to your teammate so you can revive, so you had to revive them, because I know there's been some times where I played trials and people were able to revive them. They're nowhere near their body, and it kind of made you scratch your head when they're able to get the revive. So they changed it so you have to now get closer to revive. And also when you revive somebody, your overshield that you get for reviving somebody is not as much as it once was, so they reduced the overshield. You're still gonna have an overshield, but it's gonna be reduced when you're reviving somebody. I don't know if that still counts the person that's being revived, to prevent red snipes. But so far, the person that's reviving, their overshield has been reduced, because it was a little overpowered when it came to reviving somebody and then winning a gunfight, due to having that tremendous overshield to win your gunfights. Another thing they did was they added 2 seconds to the res timer. This is once again for elimination game modes. So what do I mean by adding 2 seconds? So originally it was 5 seconds to be revived. Now it's 7 seconds. So they add two seconds to the res timer. So it was 5. Now it's 7. And also, I think this is if you continuously die. I don't know if this carries over for each round, but if you die again, I believe that same round, that 7 will now turn to 14, and then that 14 will turn to 21. Depends on how many times you keep dying. Just keep going up with the numbers and doubling it. Also, some people were not sure when trials will be returning after this April 12th update, but it has been confirmed by Bungie itself that trials will be returning April 15th. So that's pretty soon after the April 12th update has been released. So that's pretty good for you trials players out there. That trials will be returning really soon, April 15th. That's when trials will be returning. Another thing they did was also you now start off with special ammo. The reason why they did this because there is a gun in the game that kind of exploited this little thing where you start off with no ammo or special ammo, and if you got the icebreaker, it had a perk on there to give you special ammo. People would kill themselves to get special ammo. There was just a whole exploiting thing, and Bungie couldn't really fix it, so they just put special ammo back in the game. But they also reduced the chance of you getting special ammo, because I think now you start off with special ammo, but when special ammo drops, the first time it's 3 minutes, and then after that it's every other 2 minutes. And I think that's a good idea to limit the special ammo, so you can play normally without people relying on snipers and shotguns too much, which is pretty good. So they do start you off with special ammo now, but just reduce the amount of special ammo incoming. So the first one's always 3 minutes, and after that's every other 2 minutes. Heavy now drops once per game. Everything I'm saying about ammo is excluding mayhem. Mayhem is its own thing, so don't worry about that. But like for, let's say, clash, control, anything like that, heavy now drops every 5 minutes. And well, they said it drops in the 5-minute mark, but then after that it will not come again. So heavy will now drop only once a game, and it comes in at the 5-minute marker. And then same thing with like elimination and trials. Heavy drops whenever whatever team hits 3 wins first, or 3 round wins first. So that's when trials heavy or elimination heavy comes in. But for everything else, it's always at the 5-minute marker. Heavy's gonna drop, and then after that it's not gonna drop again. Shax now has this weekly bounty that you can do. I know I said before that there was gonna be this weekly bounty from Shax to get the Sterling treasure box. That has been changed a little bit, so Shaq's gonna have a weekly bounty where you can do to drop up to it's either 330 or 335, and I'm pretty sure they said 330, but of course I can't find the notes where I put that in. but it should drop up to 330. Once again, it says up to. It's not guaranteed 330 gear, but Shaxx has a weekly bundle where you can do that to increase your chances of getting better gear. It's good for solo players. To get your Sterling treasure boxes, you now have to go to the directory in the Destiny game, where it shows you, the Nightfalls, the weekly thing. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be under the weekly Crucible. You want to click on that, and then that's how you earn your Sterling treasure box with the Crucible. And I believe so right here where I'm pointing out on the screen, because I'm going to have a screenshot for you to show you where in the directory will be. That's where you get your Sterling treasure box. You just have to click on that, complete it. You should get your Sterling treasure box. At least that's what they said from stream. Okay, so now going back to Trials news. So in Trials, whenever you go 9-0 or go to the Lighthouse, you know how if you go into the Lighthouse, or if you ever seen it, the treasure box in the Lighthouse would usually give you a high-end, weapon. Now the treasure box now contains armor, not just weapons, and that can also drop up to 335 light. So if you go 9-0 or go to the Lighthouse, you now get a chance to get either 335 gun or a 335 armor piece. Once again, it's not guaranteed 335. It goes up to 335, so there is a chance where you could get 335 gear from the Lighthouse treasure box, and this is including weapons and armor once again. Also, doing the Trials bounties, like the gold tier, can also drop up to 330 light, not 335. The only thing that will drop up to 335 is from Trials, once again, is from the treasure box in the Lighthouse. But when you're doing the gold tier bounties or the silver tier bounties, it could actually drop up to 330 light, which is pretty good. And then another thing they did with the Trials bounty is there's a bounty called His Eye Upon You. I believe that's the gold tier bounty. Instead of only grabbing that once per trial event, you can now grab it once per day while Trials is up. So let's say if it starts Friday and ends Monday, you can now pick it up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then do it every time to get that gold tier event. I believe that's what the bounty is, the gold tier event. So His Eye Upon You can now be grabbed every day while Trials is activated. Okay, now this is an Iron Banner update. So the Iron Banner, usually when you win the game or you play a game, you have a chance to get a legendary pool drop. Or when I say pool drop, I'm talking about there's a line of legendaries that you can get from doing the Iron Banner. But now what they did, instead of getting random legendaries, they're going to try pushing Iron Banner legendaries towards you when you're playing the Iron Banner playlist. So when you're playing the Iron Banner, you're most likely going to get more, or the increased chance of you getting Iron Banner gear is increased due to them increasing the pool drop towards Iron Banner gear when you're on that playlist. Also, with the Iron Banner, if you get rank 5, you do get you are guaranteed a 320 ghost and artifact from reaching the max rank with the Iron Banner, which is rank 5. So once you hit rank 5 with the Iron Banner, you do get a 320 ghost and artifact, which is pretty cool. I know some people definitely need that, and you are now able to get a 320 ghost and artifact when Iron Banner is released and you hit max rank, which is pretty cool. So when Iron Banner is out and you guys need to level up, make sure you grind that out so you guys can get your 320 ghost and artifact. Another update that came with the Iron Banner is that there's also a bounty in there to level up, and you need 2,500 points and a win to complete a bounty. That has been changed. Instead of 2,500 points and a win, it's now 1,500 points and a completion. So you don't have to win; you just have to play it out completely and get 1,500 points in the game, which is it's reasonable. Beforehand, the 25 and winning wasn't a big deal for me, but of course I know for the casual players it was a challenge, because the casual players just want to play for fun. They don't want to go try hard, and this is definitely a good change for them. And it's just it'll make Iron Banner a little bit more casual, not like Trials, where people are going nonstop, try hard, which is really good. I'm glad they're doing this. Definitely appeals to the casual based players, which is awesome. So now I'm gonna get into the balancing. They've been talking about the balancing, tuning weapons, and things. So let's start off with the auto rifle. I'm gonna give you a list of the weapons they changed. Of course, it's not to nerf or buff anything. It's just to balance, and I think what they did, or their theory, or what they told us so far, is a really good idea with balancing weapons. And I'm going to give you the list right now. So let's start off with the auto rifle. The high rate of fire auto rifles their base damage has been nerfed a little bit, which is, it's not a big deal. For example, like let's say the Doctrine of Passing. So their base damage has been nerfed a little bit, and then, like the low rate of fires, like let's say the Cyril's regime, their base damage has been increased a little bit. Trying to balance each other out to make every AR viable in the situations, instead of making one more powerful than the other, which is a really good balancing technique. Let's see how it works, or a balancing idea, and let's see how it works in game when it's released. Another thing is the pulse rifles. The only one that was affected by this was low rate of fire pulse rifles, and their base damage comes up just a little bit. For example, like the Spirit Chain, so their damage only comes up a little bit. The high rate of fire pulse rifles has not been touched at all, so that's still the same. The only one that was affected, once again, is just a low rate of fire pulse rifles. Hand cannons now have more ammo in reserve. What do I mean by that is like, let's say if you were having, let's say, a Hawk Moon. I believe a Hawk Moon is 6 shots or 8 shots, and let's say you have 47 shots in your reserve or backpack. That has now been increased to 47 to how much they gave you, so you can reload and shoot more often without running dry on ammunition, which is pretty good. I've been experimenting with hand cannons, and definitely the only problem I seen was ammo, and then some recoil on some things. So the fact that they're adding more ammo is actually really good, and I might try to use this more often. Another thing they did was the fusion rifles. So the fusion rifles has a better stability throughout the whole board. So every fusion rifle has a little bit better stability to tighten the fusion rifle projectiles. So most of the projectiles are now closer together to hit your targets, which is good. The fusion rifles really weren't that good beforehand, but now with the stability buff to every fusion rifle, it should make it a little bit of a viable option in Crucible, which is pretty cool. Another thing they changed was the sniper rifles. They didn't touch the sniper rifles too much. The only thing they did was change the scopes. They try to make the sniper rifles play actually like sniper rifles and not battle rifles where you can go close quarters and kill somebody. So what they did was they changed the zoom, so that you zoom out farther to help with they added this effect so you can help with long range gunfights, really picking people off from long distances, but also to throw off really close gunfights, instead of 360 no scoping somebody, or whatever people do, close quarters. That they try to prevent that and add the zoom in further out, so it kind of messes up that a little. Another thing they did was they added 2 frames from aiming from the hip to aiming down sight, which is pretty good. 2 frames is not that much, but it's still a little bit of a difference. And also snapshot has been decreased from 30% zoom to 20%, which is a slight decrease, but still a viable option. Now let's go into the exotics. There are some exotics that has been touched just a little bit. I'm not going to go into too much details. I might make another video on this, but I'm just going to say some exotics that has been touched. For the Mida multi-tool, the gun was pretty much balanced. The only thing they took out was the high caliber rounds, which I think kind of makes sense, because if you hit them, you kind of stagger them and throw their shots off, and it was unfair, especially if you hit them in the head. And I'm a Mida user, so I can definitely put my 2 cents on this. So they took away high caliber rounds, which is it doesn't make the gun worse, basically the same thing, just without being able to stagger them. The Hawk Moon has increased range now, which was definitely one of my favorite hand cannons, and that's actually what turned me onto the hand cannon. So the fact that it has increased range is definitely going to be a really viable option whenever I attempt to do trial. The last word, the only thing they did to this was on the last word perk. On the last word, I know that's like some Inception stuff right there. The only thing they did to the last word perk on the last word is take the damage buff away. So everything's basically the same, just on the last word buff they took the damage away, the added bonus damage, which was pretty good, because I know a lot of people are getting really good with hip firing the last word, getting headshots, so that has been changed. But that's pretty much it from the Bungie live stream. That's all they did. Of course, I'll be covering a little bit more stuff in detail in other videos to give you guys a better example and better showcasing of more things they changed. But if you guys enjoy this video, give this video a like, especially if you enjoyed it, found it helpful. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I definitely like to make helpful guides, videos, and tips to teach you guys about games and help you guys better yourself in games. So I hope to catch you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out.